Hello everybody, my name is Bill. Welcome back to the NCAA Football 2007 Dynasty Mode Explanation Series. As you can see, it says we are growing momentum, and it's just saying that my winning streak's intact. Well, of course. And I will go ahead and show you the current top 25 in the entire nation. But first, in fact, no, we are not meaning to leave the Dynasty. Let's go and check out our results from week 2 for our key games. Because key game number 1, I kind of questioned Missouri's offense. I said Bowling Green was going to win. Yeah, I was wrong. I was dead wrong. So 0-1 for the week. And then the next I guessed on USC and Ohio State. And as you can see, we gotta keep scrolling. USC got the upset, which surprised me. So currently 0-2. And the next game was Oklahoma State. Well, Oklahoma versus Miami, and we have now officially claimed a full-on losing week because Oklahoma doubled Miami, and I said Miami was going to win. So yeah, there was that. Middle Tennessee State at least backed me up a bit. I know I could trust a home state team to give me win number 1 of the week. And Mickey versus Georgia. It was a lot closer. Well, I expected it to be close. Yeah, I said it's going to be a close game, and it was 26-20. So the two hometown teams, well, the two home state teams for me, because I live in Tennessee, pulled off the win. So yeah, now let's go ahead and get into our nice little week 3 gathering. As we start off with us being number 1, followed by Oklahoma at number 2, number 3 is Penn State, number 4 is Wisconsin, number 5 is Arizona State, number 6 is Auburn, number 7 Michigan, 8 is Arkansas, 9 is Tennessee, 10 is Notre Dame, USC is 11th, 12th is West Virginia, 13th is Iowa, 14th is Ohio State, Missouri is 15th, 16th is Texas, 17th is Florida, 18th is Florida State. Although, funny enough, it seems like every time I beat a team this season, they've fallen down 16 spots. Will Oklahoma be the same? Tune in next week. Or next episode, whenever that will drop. I don't know. The schedule's inconsistent. 19 is Oregon. 20 is Tampa Bay. 21st is Minnesota. 22nd is Oklahoma State. 23rd is Mickey. Michigan State rests to 24th, and Colorado falls down to 25th. Although, maybe, I don't know how Michigan... It's probably just because the fact that Michigan State has won, probably. You know. So no teams have been knocked out of the top 25 this week. And we will go into the bottom 10. And I will just make it a bit easier on myself by going all the way to the NCAA. Flip this over. And bottom 10, team number 1 is Purdue. As you can see, their quarterback has thrown 14 interceptions. Like, now granted, some of the games that I had played in the background while I was doing other stuff, like going to work when I was waiting to try to find time to actually do my game for the week. So, a lot of those interceptions came against their first game against Toledo. But still, you know, you gotta control the ball, man, especially when you're in the Big Ten. I mean, they've thrown as many interceptions as McNary Central has on defense. That's sad. And I think it's going to be a long year for these guys. Team number 2 is a team some people probably expected to have a little bit of a bounce back. And they didn't against Tennessee. Now, yeah, Tennessee is ranked, but with how good they were, you figured it'd be a little bit closer, instead of it being 51-7. Just completely dumping on their first 2 games. Bruins, I feel like we're going to go for great things this year, and they aren't proven right now that they should be anywhere near a bowl game. Team number 3 is none other than BYU, because they have yet to throw a touchdown. Sure, it's been only 2 games so far, but also 5 interceptions. Maybe there's been a pick 6 in there, which is not the kind of touchdown you want to throw. And also, they have allowed 100 more points. They've lost total 116-6. Well, 116-16. So, yeah, that is not a good way for y'all to be starting off your year. At least they scored the touchdown in the previous game, so there's something. Number 4, we have Texas Tech, if I could just be able to find them. And it's just that the Red Raiders have lost to 2 Conference USA teams to start the year. And that they're a Big 12 team, losing 2 Conference USA teams doesn't make you look like a real legitimate opponent. Makes you feel like anybody can just put you on their schedule and they'll be able to whoop you. The sad thing is they don't even have any injuries either, so I can't come up with a legit excuse for that. And their next opponent's another Conference USA team in SMU. If they lose to them, they might jump up a little bit. I don't know just yet. Number 5 is Indiana, only because of the fact that they increased their losing streak to 10. Only reason. Yeah, because you see losing streaks, you have the 4s, 5s, and they sit alone at number 10. BYU's second longest at 9, Washington State at 8, same as Marshall, USF, then Kansas, and Utah State, And number 6, we have Army this is where I start to kind of praise a few teams while they're in the bottom 10 just to help them maybe get out of their little slump, because Army, their offense showed up against Blue Raiders, but they do need to get some more the next few weeks. Their quarterback's only thrown 1 interception, which is not bad for 2 games, all things considered. But he's only thrown 24 passes as well, so maybe use the passing game a bit more. And number 7, it's Tulane. But, yeah, sure, your points allowed to points forced is big, it's 55. But, with Tulane, same thing happened to them last year. They won the Conference USA Championship. They lost their games against the non-conference teams. Conference play, they flipped another switch and off to the races. And at number 8, we have our favorites here for the bottom 10. San Jose State. 6 interceptions for your quarterback their first 2 games. Bad, it seems like they're restarting the losing streak. And for some of y'all that might be new and not know what I'm talking about, San Jose State had a 19-game losing streak going to the last game of the season in year 3. and they beat Louisville by the final score of 32-29. So if one for that win, they'd easily have the longest losing streak at 22 games. But due to that win, it got reset. But it seems like they're falling back into that hole, and for their sake, I kind of hope they don't get drug out of it. Fall back into that hole. For number 9, and you see it's so early in the season, it's kind of hard for me to separate the good teams from the bad teams. If it's just a fluke loss, or if they were really like this for the rest of the year. Like, take TCU for example. They lost to Stanford, an FCS school. Next week they blow out SMU 52-22. So they are nowhere on this list because at least they have a win. But Stanford, they're on here because they rested up this week and they look to bounce back against San Jose State. And a lot of teams, like, I don't know if I really wanted to put them in, because some of their games may have been close, you know. I mean, Boston College has been going against some decent teams like Navy, for example, but they haven't really been, by looks, been making all that many mistakes, you know. And besides, I roasted enough Boston College last year, and Ball State was the latest team to go into the season being a 4-9 team, and right now Ball State's 1-1, so hard for me to fully get onto them just yet for them making that bowl game last year. But time will tell, you know. We're only 2 weeks into the season. You know. Number 10, we have North Carolina, because losing to Connecticut 45-24. Like, you're an ACC team and you're losing that big to a team that's normally not good in football. You know, no offense to Connecticut, but you're more known for your basketball, not your football. They need to bounce back against NC State, although that's not going to be until week 4, because I looked at the schedule and they have a bye week this week. So lucky them. And now it's time for my favorite part of the episode, where I get to talk about the 5 key games of the week. As I say, as soon as the game's able to load it up. Now, it took me a while because I didn't want to talk about, you know, number 1 versus number 2. It's like, oh, it's the game of the week. It's number 1 versus number 2. Well, of course it's going to be the game of the week. Heck, that was game of the week. That was game of the week. Of course that's game of the week. But I always try to avoid talking about my team when it comes to games of the week, because it's my team, my settings, my sliders. I'm going to win because, look at that, 234, 224. It's just going to be a slaughter, you know. I just choose not to even try to talk about them. But I will go ahead and talk about the battle for the Cy-Hawk Trophy between Iowa and Iowa State. This heated rivalry game for the Cy-Hawk Trophy, we see how well the 13th ranked team in the nation will handle their in-state rival. Now, you see on paper, Iowa's a B-plus team with an A-minus offense and a B-plus defense, while Iowa State has a B overall with a B-minus offense and a C-plus defense. Yeah, that somehow averages to a B, but I'm guessing that's more of special teams, you know. Like, it's an easy win for the Hawks, you know. But they're going against the 7th best team in the nation. Granted, they've only played 1 game, but they're still, stat-wise, 7th best team in the nation. And the hometown Cyclones in Ames will have the crowd behind them. They may be worse in stats, but heart will keep this game close. But, you know, as my family always likes to say, close only counts in hand shoots and horse grenades, so I was going to end up winning it. And it took me a long time to find some key games because that's just the issue with some of these early season matchups. But I found a decent one here between South Carolina and Georgia. This will be an all-out war between these two SEC foes, between the Hedges of Athens. The Gamecocks are coming in undefeated, while the Bulldogs had a setback last week. The crowd will be electric, as the Athenians will cheer and root for Georgia, making the place super loud, knowing that winner of this game has more control on who's going to represent the West in the SEC championship. And that's all that's going to really matter for these teams, because even if they go 6-2, if either team goes 5-3, as long as those 3 losses are onto the other side of the conference, and all the other teams kind of finish out the same, they know they will be representing the West. No, wait, they'll be representing the East? Yeah, I think the East. I don't know, let's look at that now. I'm now confused myself. ESPN Magazine, Conference Standings. Yeah, SEC East. Which, you know, this ain't gonna be the first time we're gonna be talking about an SEC matchup. So hold your britches on this one. Stupid. There we go. South Carolina will try to have their offense get settled, but Georgia will come out loud on defense and keep anything from happening. And I think Georgia will win and knock off an undefeated team. I'm sure they're only 2-0, but still, undefeated is undefeated. And the next game is a top 10 ranked matchup between two rivals, Notre Dame and Michigan, inside the big house at Ann Arbor. These teams are going to be at each other's throats in this rivalry game. With this being a top 10 matchup, you know they will be at their best, because you have to be. I mean, Notre Dame's coming into this game lower ranked, lower overall, and A, with an A offense and a B plus defense. Meanwhile, Michigan's coming in with an A plus overall, with an A minus offense and an A minus defense. Again, it must be special teams holding up the overall. And Notre Dame's coming in with a powerful offense, ranked 10th in the nation. Meanwhile, Michigan's coming in with the 3rd ranked offense, while 3rd ranked defense in the nation. Again, only one game, but still, generally speaking. The Irish will be ready to head to the big house, but the Wolverines will be ready with the fans, the ones faithful to the blue. And I think this will be a back and forth contest, and I think Notre Dame's going to pull off the upset, I believe. And the next game will be another rivalry game. And like I mentioned, Georgia and South Carolina wasn't going to be the only SEC team we're going to be talking about. Well, SEC matchup we'll be talking about. Because here we have 9th ranked Tennessee against 17th ranked Florida. The Volunteers have yet to get a win against the Gators in this dynasty, but will this be the year? Rankings don't matter here, as they have been ranked with Florida unranked. The swamp will be loud, in the sea of blue and orange, and the Gators will be ready again. Tennessee is the better team, as they have the better overall, maybe slightly, better offense, but they don't have better defense. That belongs to Florida. They do have better points per game, better offense. Like, their passing offense isn't good, but their defense is just slightly better on paper. Tennessee is the better team, but they don't want to lose this game. They want to represent the SEC East and the SEC Championship. But Florida's always been that monkey on their backs for the past 3 years. Will this be the year? I think so. They will be prepared as they are ready to finally dethrone the Gators and volunteer to be in the SEC championship game. Bad puns. I love them. Some of you may hate them, but I love them. And speaking of bad puns, I think the Tigers are going to win this matchup. The real question is, will it be Auburn or LSU? As Auburn's the 6th ranked team in the nation, while LSU's working their way back up. 2 Tigers, 1 conference. This game could be big for either team. As Auburn, they hope to keep their dreams of national championship alive, as LSU has looked to bounce back after last season, because last season they went 6-6. They went exactly 500, which was not their plan, and they need to bounce back and get a winning season and get back on the right track. Both teams are 2-0, so this early season game could be a determining factor for their season. And I just think with how loud the LSU faithful can be if they're Bayou Bengals, I think LSU is going to be able to pull off the upset in Death Valley as they have the home fans and the advantage of all that noise inside the stadium. You can be impressed on how some people can easily create a stadium just to cause as much noise as possible. I think it will be a close game though between the two, but LSU will come out on top. And that is it for this week. Those are my 5 key games of the week, and I will see you all next time.